Welcome in, Chargers fans. Not really any big news recently, but I'm going to start pumping out some mock drafts and more draft content. I published my top 10 overall um, receivers for the 2023 NFL draft. This video is just going to be 5 plus 1 honorable mention of the receivers that I really want the Chargers to look at early in the draft. I would say Parker Washington. He's my 6th guy. Latest I could see him being there is probably the 3rd round. We're going to have a pretty, middle to late of the 3rd round pick. And so that's really where this video is. It's not a diamonds in the rough. It's not a late round flyers, just guys with speed type video, because there are some receivers I'd still be interested in, but for this video, this is the top guys that we're looking at day 1, day 2, because we do need to prioritize the position of wide receiver early in this draft. Number 6, Parker Washington. This one is more so only if, for some reason, we don't have Keenan Allen next season. No matter how that happens, maybe through trade. I haven't really settled what side of that argument that I'm on yet. I think I'm against trading Keenan. I know that we need to clear up some cap space, but there are going to be better ways to do that. Herbert and Keenan have a very good relationship on and off the field, and I just don't see how, if we lost Keenan in the offseason, even if we had a pretty decent draft, I don't see how we would take a huge step forward. It's possible, but losing a guy like Keenan Allen, losing that continuity into a new offense, I think would be a pretty big blow. 3rd and Keenan, having him just as a safety blanket, even just in the back of Herbert's mind, knowing hey, they're putting a lot of pressure on me. I need a completion. I need just an easy down. Let's look at Keenan. Let's lock onto him. If we do get rid of him, though, I want Parker Washington. He is 5'10", 212 pounds. He's not even 21 years old yet. He's a very good route runner. He has very good hands. He returned punts. He's pretty good in traffic, pretty decent contested catch guy. Not amazing speed, but similar to Keenan. He's probably going to run a low 4.5s if I was going to guess. So I'm not going to kill you over the top, but can work a little bit on the outside, primarily going to work out of the slot. But for potentially being there in the 3rd round, I think that if we do get rid of Keenan, we're going to have to attack the position multiple times. Maybe not with picks 1 and 3 or 2 and 3, but if we wait until round 3, picking up Parker Washington and then another guy later in the draft, so that we could have Mike, Josh Palmer, Parker Washington, and then we would need a Jalin Hyatt, the guy out of, I think, Trey Tucker or something, the guy out of Cincinnati. He's really just a straight line guy, a Trey Palmer, but Parker Washington more so only if we trade Keenan. Number 5, very different, Jalin Hyatt. In my opinion, he's just fast, but he is very fast. He's going to run probably in the high 4.2s. He will not get caught in a straight line. And this is what the Chargers have been looking for. He is not quite as polished, as diverse as a Henry Ruggs, and Henry Ruggs wasn't even a Jalen Waddle level of athlete and explosiveness to an offense in terms of both vertical and horizontal. He was more straight vertical, but even a guy like Henry Ruggs was a little bit more crisp and polished as a route runner, and we just really haven't seen Jalin Hyatt have to work off press coverage very much, have to win on the outside one-on-one. He was put in stacked formations and trips, off the line scrimmage, in the slot. Whatever they had to do to get him a free release, they did it. He's not very physical throughout the route or at the catch point. A lot of times he didn't really have to be because he had a good amount of distance, which obviously is what you want. But even if we do keep Keenan, a Jalin Hyatt, in my opinion, in the second round, if he was there, I don't think he will be. But that would be a very solid pick because this is the element to the Chargers offense that we've been missing for, we had Jalin Guyton, we had Tyron Johnson, but he would bring a different level of speed. Jalin Guyton's a low 4.4s guy, maybe high 4.3s. Jalin Hyatt can fly, outrun anybody that they have on defense outside maybe Tariq Woolen or something. But Jalin Hyatt would bring the explosive, take the top off the defense, can score a touchdown anytime he touches the ball element to this Chargers offense. Number 4, I have Tank Dell. Even if we keep Keenan Allen, I think Tank Dell, even with the concerns about his frame, he's a little bit older, 23.3, 5'8", 163. This dude can just separate, and he can run. My prediction is mid 4.3s. He's going to be able to accelerate pretty quick with how light he is. Not the Jalin Hyatt level of burner down the field, but, if he's able to take the releases that we saw on tape at the Senior Bowl and in college, if he can still get those releases, which I think he can, he has a very good release package. He is a very, very, very good route runner, very fluid, very quick in and out of breaks, unreal movement ability, also return punts. But, I would like to see him, Keenan, and Mike Williams because they do all bring different elements. I'm not going to say that Tank Dell is just a faster Keenan Allen, but in terms of ability to separate, I think that you could still put Tank Dell on the outside in the NFL. There are some corners who he might struggle going up against, but if you need him running the deeper routes, being that deep threat, he has the speed to do that as well. So he has, ability to separate inside or outside, similar to Keenan. And in the red zone, he had some phenomenal reps where he just cooked guys off the line and was 3 or 4 yards open in the back of the end zone running a slant just because he got the corner turned around off the release, which is something you like to see. But Tank Dell, Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, I think Tank should definitely be there for us in the second round. If he was there in the third, that would be without a doubt a no-brainer. Adding a guy like Tank would do wonders for this offense. He's not going to be a tackle breaker, but he's still pretty decent after the catch. He's good at avoiding tackles. There's two arguments or two sides of the coin of being a good run after the catch guy. Either you break tackles like a Deebo Samuel, or you just avoid tackles after the catch like a Tank Dell. Number 3, we got Kayshon Boutte. Kayshon, if you told me last year that we would even have a shot to pick Kayshon Boutte at pick 21, I would be floored. I would say, why on God's green earth would we not do that? He did have a bit of a down year, some major drop concerns, some character concerns, but I'm willing to take that risk in round 2 probably, assuming that he's there. He's not even 21 yet. He's 20.7 years old, but he has good speed. I would say low 4.4s, very good route running, very good after the catch. He just finds the end zone. Even like ever since he was a freshman, he got hurt his sophomore year pretty bad. Messed up his knee against Kentucky, but he's had success on the outside and in the slot. He's strong at the catch point, 6 foot, 205. I mean, he was labeled the very clear wide receiver one after his freshman year for this 2023 class. Still had that after last year. After this year, he's obviously slipped, but I mean, so young. Broke out at such a young age, which is important. I think could develop into a true number one receiver, while I also think that he could be on the field with Mike and Keenan. Yes, he wouldn't necessarily bring a let's take the top off the defense to this offense. You still have Mike. You could have guys like Jalin Hyatt and guys further down the depth chart who have that insane deep speed, which all Chargers fans do want. But if we don't have Keenan next year, or if we don't have Mike 2 years down the line, having a guy like Kayshon, who's so young, on a rookie deal, can develop with Herbert, I think that he could eventually become a wide receiver one. Number two, Zay Flowers, the person that has probably been mocked to the Chargers the most. 22.4 years old. He is extremely sudden, has that jitter. I made the same comparison in the top 10 receivers. I think I just called them a little bit stockier, Tank Dell, but he has good ball skills. He's a little bit more physical than Tank Dell for his size. He can shake some tackles. He has a very diverse route tree as well. He was used in a lot of different ways compared to Tank Dell as well. More jet sweeps, more in motion, really attacked all three levels of the field. But this is also an example of what every Chargers fan wants to see on this offense. He's going to probably run in the mid 4-3, so he can still bring that, take the top off the defense that Jalin Hyatt would bring. But if you're looking for closer to a Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, not deep speed, but in terms of short area quickness, which is very, very important at the receiving position for route running, for separation, for creating distance in and out of breaks, for right after you catch the ball, how fast you're going to be able to accelerate to avoid the oncoming corner. He showed that a lot on tape. Pretty decent hands. He does need to play a little bit more under control. But Zay Flowers, I'm torn at the end of the first round for me. I would prefer to trade back a little bit. I know it takes two to tango to trade back, but I would prefer to trade back a little bit from 21 and then get Zay Flowers rather than take him at 21. It's a little bit rich for me. I would rather go a couple other positions like edge, maybe interior defensive line, not necessarily tight end, not really O-line, corner, very, very strong class, but some of those guys are probably going to slip who are still very talented, opposite of this class a little bit. But I would prefer to trade back a little bit. I still think Zay Flowers is first-round talent, but 21 might be a tiny bit rich for me. Number one, my very clear number one receiver, Quentin Johnston. I could see him becoming a wide receiver one. He's going to get some DK Metcalf comps. 6'4", 216, built in a lab to play the receiver position. I think he's going to run high 4.3s, but I think he's faster than that. Because if you have him run deep routes, it's going to take him a split second longer to accelerate than these shorter guys. But once he gets going, he's going to build that distance because he has a higher top end speed than most receivers in this draft and probably most corners in the NFL. He is very fast once he gets going, very sudden for somebody his size as well. Very good after the catch, very strong after the catch. He is a hands catcher, but he did still have almost some concentration drops. He has some pretty bad drops on his tape. He had some bad drops this year. But he's still a decent route runner. TCU didn't ask him to do a lot of different things in terms of route running, but I could definitely see that part of his game developing if you just ask him to do it and ask him to run some more slants, put him in motion a little bit, even give him some more free releases and just get the ball in his hands and see what he can do with it. Because at TCU, he literally either ran a go, a handful of crossers, or they just threw him the ball and saw what he could do with it. But he's a crazy athlete. He's going to probably have a 40-plus inch vertical, at least high 30s. And when you're already that tall, he has definite potential to be a jump ball threat, a playmaker. He doesn't have that innate ability that Mike Williams did in college. That was very evident from Mike coming out of college. But I just don't think he's put it all together yet. But I think that he will. He's only 21 and a half. Very young. My definite general wide receiver one. But even if we don't get rid of Keenan, I would still be okay. I would still be happy taking Quentin Johnston in the first round at pick 21. He can bring that deep threat, attack at the deep part of the field while still developing with Herbert into a true wide receiver one, into a more thorough role in this offense, getting the ball in his hands in the screen game. He's big. He's going to be able to, being big doesn't necessarily directly translate to being a better blocker, but definitely doesn't hurt. Him, Mike Williams, and Keenan Allen, that is an insane red zone threat as well. Having them on the outside, Keenan in the slot, you can definitely do a lot of things with that. And he just brings a different skill set than what we have because he's not going to be a Mike Williams. Mike Williams is a 4-5 guy. Quentin Johnston going to be a high 4.3s guy, and even that's a little bit deceiving. His top end speed, crazy. Let me know the top 3 receivers that you guys want to see the Chargers take. There's been a lot of Keenan rumors lately. I think I'm against trading him. Some people, some Chargers fans are acting crazy, seeming like they want to trade him for a third and not even think twice about it just because we need to clear cap space. Keenan is still, yes, he's getting up there in age, but he's one of the best receivers in Chargers history. He has a great relationship with Herbert, which cannot be understated, oversold, and I don't see how we would be winning in that scenario. I think that we need to do some restructures. We do need to figure some things out, obviously, but I think Keenan's going to be on the team next year. But that's why I had number 6, Parker Washington, just in case not. But these are my guys for the Chargers, bringing us that explosive element to the offense that we need. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.